Welcome back, MsCeeY.
Yeah, good to be back.
Circumstances different, of course, but always good to see you. Always good to have you in this building, in this space with us, and here
Likewise.
on the Moment of Truth.
Yeah,
Um, there's been a lot happening in your life lately.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a bereavement that has befallen you and your family.
Mhm.
And I guess part of that is part of why the reason you are here with us today.
Mm.
Maybe you want to give us a little bit of background on
Oh,
what's
this is
happening.
so. I'll start off by declaring first.
Yeah.
He was my favorite nephew.
Oh yes,
You
I've
know.
seen it in your posts and all of that. But I think that comes from a very affectionate place, you know.
Yeah, I love him. I love him big. Um, his name is Sam Ayanda Willard. His career actually started here
Yes.
in East London.
Hmm.
We've just had I call it a road show.
Mm.
So trust Sam to do this to me, to
Oh
do
my
this
goodness.
to us as a family. This is the last lap, the tribute that we'll do here in East London. But all that I'll give the details later.
Yeah.
People that never had the opportunity to say their goodbyes to
Yes, they
him.
farewells.
Yeah,
Mm.
and also it's a young man. He's just had a baby boy,
Mm.
and it's just beginning to get so proud of the men they've become.
Yes.
Well, both my nephews, but uh, Sam in particular. It's bittersweet, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
But I guess this is life. If we don't accept
Yeah.
the end, we can't accept new beginnings
Mm.
as well. And so, as his circle of life closed on him, which happened on the 7th of February in Johannesburg,
Yes.
and I'm the only relative that side. So at least I had the opportunity to be with him on the Saturday,
Okay.
which was probably the universe's way of just letting us be together and spend that time
You,
together while he's here
there's always that
physically.
moment or time which you realize in hindsight that it
Mhm.
was actually the opportunity the universe
It was my
get it
gift.
yes.
It was my gift, but yeah, I still have so much to process.
Yeah.
But like they say, the show goes on.
Oh yes.
Yeah, the
Oh
show goes
yes. And how have the other stops along the way, given that East London being the last leg, how have the other legs
on.
gone? I mean, this is somebody who lived large
He did.
in his presence, you know. So a lot of people were touched by
Yeah,
his
yeah.
presence and his being.
Mhm.
So I'm sure you met a melting pot of people who came to pay their final respects in the
Specs.
different places.
Yeah, and also just the love. Like I said, he just loved so loudly. Everything was passion.
Oh wow.
He was so passionate about so many things. And I think that comes through in terms of his friends, the close encounters people had with him. And what is so amazing, and I think it's also, it's so comforting
Yes.
for us as a family, that this is a person that lived outside of, living with family and
Mm.
in the same town and
Mm.
whatever. He was out there, but he had his own little community of great friendships. He's just recently had a baby
Mm.
as well. Nombu is based in Johannesburg, so she's still with the baby that side. He had a good 2 weeks with the baby to bond and
Oh
and
wow.
whatever. So yeah, that's his journey. That was his journey.
Yes.
He's also his actual rugby career started here in East London.
This is what I wanted us to get into a little bit before we get too caught up in just his departure. Let's talk
Mhm.
about the life he lived.
I know. I call it the life and times of Sam. That's what
Yes.
we're going to tribute when we go off tomorrow.
Yes.
So tomorrow we'll have the last lap, like I said to you, and that is happening in Buffalo Flats Extension.
Yes.
I'll give the details of the hall as we speak,
Okay.
and the locality as well. His career started actually there. This is where it all started.
Yeah.
So I think it's very appropriate for us to end the physical work here where it all
Well,
began.
it's like tying a knot. You know,
Mhm.
it goes all the way around, and in
It
the
comes
end,
back.
comes back, and
Comes
that's
back.
where you make the connection.
Connection here. And also just speaking to people that also here, because
Yes.
at that time I was not in South Africa at the time.
Yes.
And I'm smiling because I remembered there was some function that they were doing, and I ran into him, and I was with the cameraman. I was doing a program at that time
Yes.
for television, and I walked up to him and I said to him, "Oh, here goes my crush." And he says to me, "Don't be disgusting. Don't be in front of his friends."
Oh
In
my
front of his
goodness.
friends. And also because, and I kept on saying to you, I've been crushing you from a distance because I wasn't around.
Yeah.
I would hear these little bits and pieces of
Yes.
what you're doing. I'm so proud of you. And I think a few of us get to say those things.
Oh yes.
You
Especially
know.
to the person.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes we get
exactly.
to speak about a person because we're really inspired or whatever,
Mhm.
but how often do you get to say
Say
it to
it,
the
you
actual
know.
individual?
And he was so amazing. And what for me, what was actually quite good is the fact that, guess what? He made us all feel equally loved. So yeah, I think I've got something special to tell about him. You know, like we spoke all the time. You
Yes.
know, even if it's a phone call, even if he had nothing to say. You know, even if I had nothing to say,
But
we'd start our conversation like, "Sam," and he would say, "Loved one." And for me to listen to how he did that to his friends as well, you know, it's like, oh my goodness, how special was I? How
Yes.
special was special to him? He had this amazing ability. Everyone in his life, he made them feel special.
So,
Yeah.
tell us about his career in sports, and you know, how his journey went from here to
Mhm,
where it took
mhm,
him.
mhm. I think it was around about 1999 that he was at Greenpoint.
Yes.
He did the Craven Week. Remember, we still had
Yes.
those kind
Yes.
of things, the Craven Week. He then did camp as
Mm.
well with people like Chester Williams.
Yes.
Remember at that time?
Oh yes.
And he became a baby Bok as well. He played for the Bulls, he played for the Falcons, you know, but just listening to other people talk about him, like his ex-coaches,
Yes.
what a humble person he was, what a hard worker he was. I remember him as a young man, and kept on saying, "Oh my goodness, your threshold for pain is quite high,"
Mm.
you know, because he'd wake up with concussions when when he was still
Oh yes.
growing, you know, the sport, the contact sport. Uh, he was just brilliant. He was just a brilliant player. And also, I think he had his own politics as well.
Mm.
And this is what a lot of people don't understand
Mm.
about that move. Remember, during the late 90s, there was this development agenda in sport.
Mm.
So our
Where-
young
where-
kids were taken out of the
Where
schools,
the quota system was being discussed, and all of that. Yeah.
and it was like, if you were coming from the so-called black neighborhoods, you'd be absorbed into white schools, and where the training programs would be put together, you know, all of those things.
Yes.
A lot of young people moved
Yes. And got
and got
taken from their
from those
environments to these boarding schools,
and also different communities
Yes.
as well. And Sam's mom, bless her soul, that's my big sister Angie. She she says it with so much pride when
Mm.
she said, you know, he did not want to go to those schools. He said, "I am not going anywhere. Let me put Greenpoint senior secondary school on the map.
Wow.
And he did just that.
Wow.
And he stood by that, even playing. He never lost the essence of who he was and his love for his community, which is the Buffalo Flats community.
Yes.
He was proud that is where opportunity was given to him. Yeah. So even him moving around, he'd always come back home. He'd always, when he comes here, it's a blast. It connect with these people. What just an amazing soul, And I'm not saying this just because he's my favorite and that I still love him forever,
Yes, of course.
But this is the person he truly was, very, 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 very solid, very solid. And I hope a lot of times young people take a page from this, that as we live, we write our own obituaries.
Wow.
That is what we do, each day that goes by, don't waste it. And remember, we had a convo before we came into studio that I kind of don't understand the thing of gone too soon. And I think he ran his race, and I think he did exactly why he was here.
I understand. I understand statements like "the good die young," because it kind of
that's cool.
Because it kind of means you put everything into in the time you had, and then you
become good.
That's
the status. You become good. But the too soon element of this is what I grapple with.
Yeah,
because
as if there's some kind of mistake that was made. Or that the wrong person was called to the other to the other side.
Or it's like what dipstick do we measure soon?
Yeah.
We used to measure soon. And so with him, I think he's just lived so largely. And so if for you 1 year, your achievements in 1 year is not the achievements of a young man your age.
Yes.
Would do, because we always procrastinate.
Yes, and we always feel we've got so much more time to do things.
Yeah.
And I guess the too soon part, when people say it, was maybe too soon for me to process. Maybe it's a personal, it's like too soon for me
to process. And I take it literally, like too soon, that your time was up too soon. Time is time. And I always say this, and I know that losing Glow has also made me understand that death gives time its value. So regardless of what we do, be mindful that this is it. Tomorrow cannot be recalled. So whatever we do, to every step of the way, we write our own obituary.
And so Sam touched a lot of lives, met a lot of people, professionally did very well for himself, was recognized, put his community on the map. We could go on and on about that. What are some of the pointers of maybe that you can give us of the lasting impact that his journey has made on his profession, and then also on people?
He was just such a kind spirit as well. Also, I think for young Black men also, that things were possible. It gave people that hope that if I can do it, you can too. And the humility that came with that as well. And it always come back to the source. And being raised by a single mother who is Angie. Angie's done a fabulous job raising her sons. And in today's day and times, that's not an easy ticket. And these are the people, the young men that keep me in check.
Yes.
A lot of times when there's campaigns going that goes against the black man,
Yes.
they'll call you to check and say, what are you going to say about this?
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and I would be saying it's still the same. We gave birth to boys, so for me, I could never degrade you ever.
Mm.
So these are the conversations we'd have to instill greatness in our young men of our family. And I think I posted about that as well.
Yes.
It's I'll find stuff to post. We'll heal. I call him my second angel after Glow.
Yes.
So they're probably looking down on us, and it's like, we got them.
We got them good. High fives all around. High fives all around. So when and where will the memorial?
The memorial takes place tomorrow.
Okay.
And I said it's in John Nash.
Yes.
It's in Buffalo Flats Extension. It's at this. I'm just getting all that information together.
Okay.
That's it's happening on at this resource center.
Yes.
John Wade Resource Center in Buffalo Flats Extension.
What time will that be?
It will be only 1 hour of tributes that are happening. It is Wayne Reed Resource Center. It's number 10 John Nash. It's in Buffalo Flats Extension. It's happening between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. So It's 1 hour of fun. It's a great tribute where we shine the spotlight on just the life and times of Sam.
Yes.
And his journey.
And him being your nephew, but also him being who he was. What sticks out to you about the person that we are saying farewell to?
Just a kind person. Everything else falls in place. It's when you're kind, you're respectful.
Yes.
And when you're respectful, you've got this amazing ability to love.
Yes.
So everything just gets together.
And it kind of interlinks itself.
Yeah. So for me, if I need to use one word that is synonymous with Sam, it's kindness. And he's just a giant that loved. He was such a loving young man. I've got to stop myself from saying kid.
So the Wayne Reed Resource Center, Buffalo Flats Extension, tomorrow, which is the 26th of February, between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. Just an hour, but it's more than enough because those of you who will be pulling up there, come and give your piece. Come and say your piece and make your piece. This will be you in the presence of other people whose lives Sam had also touched in the way that he was known for doing.
And it's also a perfect opportunity for everybody attending the event to journey back with us.
Yes.
So it all started in Pretoria, where his colleagues and friends in Mpumalanga, from Mpumalanga, did the memorial. So this is the next lap, which would happen on Saturday, but it's almost like a round robin.
Yes.
And that's why I'm like, okay, I'm actually doing a road show.
Pretty much.
It's a Sam Willard road show.
It's the Sam Willard road show.
Can you see how he sneaks it in on us?
Oh yeah, no. It's almost planned.
Typical. Typical. And you also had a loss. I'm sorry about that as well.
Oh yes. Look, we deal with these things as they come, because it hits you at first, and then once you've processed it, you start taking from there what you want to move forward with.
Yeah.
Yes. And we can't stop our lives from experiencing what happens in our path. But fortunately, We have legacy, and we have memories,
Yeah.
and those keep us going.
And that's important.
Those keep us
That's
going.
important. I think if everybody lives consciously
Yes.
about that fact,
Mm.
we won't need to struggle too much. It's so
Yeah.
comforting, and it makes the grieving process that much lighter.
Mm.
We've got to find goodness in everything. With fortunately, the souls that we are grieving have lived such an amazing existence,
And made it so easy to remember them,
and to love
with a
them.
smile. Yes.
Yeah, and continue to love them. I mean, I've got to catch my breath sometimes, but I'm kind to myself. I allow myself to grieve
Yes.
as well. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just in the meantime right now, but I will process, I will do all of those things, because it is important that while we do this, there's still this beautiful soul called Anati, his baby,
Yes.
that we still need to carry with us on this journey and keep the memory of Sam alive. I don't know how much you remember. I can't remember nothing from being 2 weeks old.
Oh no! Look, I've got a pretty great memory, but that's just way too.
I know.
That's way too young.
I remembered my first day at school.
I remember. I remember even before that.
Uh-huh.
But 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You don't even know what to remember.
Yeah.
You're still trying to understand who these people are.
But also, I do believe in ancestors and
Oh, yes.
angels. So he'll probably whisper something good to
Yes.
his baby.
I also think it wasn't a coincidence that his baby came 2 weeks prior to his departure. There was a connection made. There was a bond, maybe even a handing over of a baton of some kind, for the future. So these are the things that that we give ourselves opportunities to understand at times like these.
Time heals and time tells.
Exactly.
Time tells as well.
And time is the only thing that's told the truth. All along.
So yeah, I think that's the greatest part of living consciously.
Yes.
That this is not the end.
Yes.
And we don't see that as the end. And also, when we live, we know that beyond the tears, beyond the grief,
yes,
that we are comforted. They somehow journey with us. Whatever floats your boat, you will believe it.
And it'll find you at the right time. It'll find you where you've been waiting for it.
I've been waiting to be here, and here I
am. The tribute for Sam Willard happening tomorrow at the William Reed Resource Center, Buffalo Flats Extension. That'll be happening between 1 and 2 p.m. Come through, share with the rest of the greater family that Sam has put together, and let's all say farewell in the best way that we know how, and also share some of the anecdotes and the great stories about the same person that has gone around the world doing what he did from the heart, and now that he is no more in the flesh, maybe it's time for us to let him go.
Yeah, and also from the family, from Angie, Mulchin, Lele, to myself and the rest of the family, we'd like to thank everybody that was part of this journey. Painful, but necessary.
And very important to make sure that the legacy stays alive.
I'm sure I try that with so much pride, because he was here.
Yes.
We will make sure that that happens, that everybody remembers him.
MsCeeY, thank you so much. And the family and everybody, they say that when the sun rises at some point, it's got to set. That's just the way the way it is. We didn't make the rules. We don't control the mechanics behind it, and we don't have some computer where we can change the settings on that. That's just the way it is. But it also helps that that's the way it is, because that's how we learn, how to become part of
Yeah.
a cycle of rebirth as well
Yeah.
within ourselves.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, True. Thanks to Keith as well. I reached out to him yesterday as well. Thank you. Thank you, family.
Thank you, MsCeeY.
Thank you.